Looks a bit grey up there, doesn't it? Bluey grey. So, rig a brush. Now if we look at the ears, we've got white hair, but what we're going to do is we're going to paint up to the white, leaving the paper to show the white. Yeah? So, a good strong mix of black or Payne's Grey, whichever one I'm picking up out of my pot. I think that's black, that one. So you rig a brush, and we want to leave the white showing, so work like that so that we are painting the space around the white hairs. Do them going in different directions. Fill in the space in between. Now we could use gouache if we wanted to, and that's what we'd normally do when we've got white fur and hair and so on, but I thought this time we'd leave the white of the paper. We'll see next week we won't be doing that. Darker line in there. So look at your picture, look at where there is hair. And the rigger brush holds lots of paint, so you can do quite a big area without having to go back and forth to your palette. Then it's a case of, obviously we can do the other ear, and we can begin to add the black fur or hair to the goat. So always paint the way that the black hair is growing, so you can naturally lift off the paintbrush so it gets finer. That will help to just show that shape as well. I think my goat's got a slightly longer face than the picture. More aristocratic goat. And this is the bit that takes the time, but you can get a bit of a rhythm going with it. With the bigger brush, you don't have to keep going back into your palette of paint too often. Look at the direction that the fur grows in as well. it should be white. It doesn't really matter because there are going to be lots of varieties. I'm just working on the really black areas at the moment. I'm just going to darken that bit around the nose. Show where the nostrils are. Thinking about your classic design object here. Does that mean everybody else has? Because only one person said no.
What could it
Yeah.
be? Classic design.
Classic
I
design.
did when you mentioned it.
And now you've got it. What were you thinking of, Vivian?
Thinking the icon of icons, the video.
Oh, that's right, yes. Your first one that didn't start.
Yes, it's to my heart.
So it's like, say that again, what is it? A classic
Classic
icon?
design
Classic
icon.
design.
Yes, so it'll be on an A3 canvas, and then they.
So something like Rolex.
Yeah,
that kind of
that'd be
thing.
brilliant. Yeah, yes, it could be a building. It could be an item of furniture.
Right,
It
anything.
could be some jewellery, but something that's a bit classy.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you only have to search on Google, don't you?
Yeah.
Classic design icons, and then it'll give you some suggestions. And then once you start thinking, you start coming up with, oh, that would be good.
And then you have too many options.
Yeah. But it's always, those of you that have done it in the past, it's a bit daunting at first, isn't it? Because you've got this canvas and it's got to be finished and it's going to go up in the gallery and everything. But they all look great when they're up there, don't they? Always look when you can stand back, like when we put the pictures up on the screen to show off at the end of the session. And when you stand back and look at pictures in a gallery on the wall, they really come into their own. So I'm thinking this would work nice on black paper as well, if anybody fancied doing a goat on black paper, or even in acrylics on black paper. Could use white pen or white pastel, white coloured pencil.
Thinking of pastels and pencils, Rose. Oh, pastel pencils, any good?
They're for more sort of finer, so if you were going to do that, they'd work quite nice as a pastel pencil. So they're a little bit, obviously we've got more binder in them, so they don't crumble as much as your normal soft pastels.
Right.
But yeah, they're handy to have. Or particularly if you've done a pastel and then you want to add a bit more detail to it. So on his beard here, just using the brush a little bit more on the side.
What about his beard? Actually, I like goats. Cute.
They are quite sweet things, aren't they? Quite comical. They eat anything, don't they?
Yeah.
So there's the other ear to do, so again, like we did before, just gonna... There's always some ways, if you're left or right-handed, better ways of
Yeah, I was just thinking
working,
that.
so but, you don't have to work that is uncomfortable for you. Just turn your paper around. There we go, fill in the black bits in your middle of your ear. It's not like Emma to miss. I hope she's alright. Mum's okay. So where the hair's getting a little bit lighter, we're not going to go in with gouache, but we can just water down our paint and sort of like here we can just go in with a lighter touch. It's a paler grey really. Might have to finish these off next week. Taking quite a bit of time to do, aren't they? Oh, you could use that comb. Oh, nearly. We'd use that comb brush as well. I've forgotten about that. Which, the one that's got the long and short hairs in it. I don't know where mine's gone, so if you, it does sometimes help to speed up a little bit. Probably take it downstairs. It's like having lots of little paintbrushes tied together, so it's a little bit quicker sometimes. So where he's white, just do a, not all over the white, but just a diluted of your black. Just add a few sort of suggestions of fur. It is the sort of picture you can keep building on, building up.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's depends how dense you want that fur, or whether you just want a suggestion of it. Look at the ears, make sure we've got those darker bits around there. Just a bit of grey around that. Doesn't jump out as too white just there. before you perhaps put, it's got a few little whiskers around his eyes, is we can put some colour. We don't want to put too much colour on, but just wet wash your brush before you start. Just going to wet around.
Just wet around the edge.
With clean water. The water's gone a bit dirty now. So I'm going to wet up to there, and then I'm just going to take a blue and just add some bit of a hint of blue into there. A little bit of colour to add some background. Now, if you find you've lost a bit of a highlight, or you've lost a bit of your darkness, or use coloured pencil. Say you've lost your shape of your pupil or something. Just going to add a little bit more into that. Just not such a see a little bit of the shape of it. Just or a white pencil. This is talking about pastel pencil. This is a pastel pencil. So just add those back in if you've gone a little bit not as bright as you wanted to, or as light. And again, it's these little bits that need to be darkened down. Coloured pencil is often quite a nice little tool to just make things a bit darker, which is difficult to do sometimes with the paintbrush. So we could keep building on that and keep adding that in and that one, but I think because it's 5 to 9 we'll finish that one there. As I say, you can keep building on it. You could use gouache as well, but it's a nice little study of a goat.